Nvidia, I haven't invested in Nvidia at all, and the reason is that if you do your investments properly, you can retire in this country.
Yes.
Because if you are paying yourself taxes,
Yes.
like to yourself,
Yes.
then there is no reason that you will not be able to survive the retirement in this country.
When that money is already cut from the government, you
Yeah.
have no options, right?
Yeah.
You don't think about like, okay, I've spent everything, how much is saved?
Salaries are good as well.
Yes.
So people get carried away. So
Yes.
that should not be the case. So see what hobbies can
Yes.
bring out to you, and then that monetized as well, because
Wow.
I showed that polish,
People went and
people went
used the
and buy
referral link and
yes, exactly. So I monetized that
Yes.
eventually. So if you keep on that in that zone, you will find good thing to monetize from. So lifestyle contributes a lot towards people who are irresponsible again. So if you are not irresponsible, then it's very easy for you to save. If you start the side hustle, any side hustle. So let's say if you are having 20 dirhams per month salary in UAE, and you start a side hustle, and by time it grows to, let's say, 10,000, 15,000 dirhams extra. Now in the office, you don't have to upgrade yourself because you're still on 20,000 dirhams,
Yeah.
and your colleagues are the same.
yeah.
You're getting 15,000 dirhams extra, and you can do investment or whatever you want. You can make a lot of money, you can invest a lot of money just through side hustle, not having lifestyle inflation, because once you get promoted, maybe the society pressure comes, and then you may be upgrading your car.
Yes. So Wali, let's dive straight into it. Tell us about your background and how you ended up talking about personal finance.
Right. So basically, I am an engineer, and I have my day job as a telecom engineer working for a big telecom company here in the UAE. And since ever, I have not thought of going for YouTube specifically, let alone any kind of social media. YouTube is the difficult of all.
It's the toughest.
It's the toughest, yes. So it's a long story how I ended up doing this content creation. Since very long, I'm a firm believer that it's not the money that you're making, it's basically what you're saving.
Yes.
Whatever you save, whatever you invest, that matters more rather than whatever you are earning, because people are normally of the impression that if they're not making more money, they cannot save or they cannot
Yes.
progress in their lives. There is another story why I started specifically on YouTube, because my son, when he was in grade 8, he was also thinking about doing content creation, and he was doing content creation around the topic of currency collection. And because of this currency collection, an extension to it was the general knowledge kind of things. So he was making good videos, he was doing good editing and all sort of things. I was encouraging him a lot. But while you are doing this content creation thing, it's not a straight path.
Yes.
You will have some videos going good, you will have some videos going doing not so good. So all of a while, I was encouraging him, but eventually he just gave up on
Gave
it.
up. Okay.
Yeah. But then at the same time, I said, see, it's not all so gloomy. You must try, and you must do more of
Persist.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was not actually. Then I told him, okay, see, let me try this, and I'll just do it for 6 months and see what will happen. So I started that time during COVID, and I had some topics in my mind. I started doing. I randomly did the videos. I was in my car doing videos. I was in my just room without any light. Or if you see my old videos, you will find the production quality was not that good.
Okay.
So I was keep on going doing the videos, but eventually I was recognized by one of my colleague in my office, and he said, you were on the YouTube. Do you have a channel on YouTube? So I thought that how come he's aware about it, because I never, by the way, I never advertise my own YouTube channel on any of my own social media
Yeah.
handles, like
Yeah.
personal accounts. So yeah, I said yes. So he said I was actually, it was very helpful, because one of the topic that I was discussing, it was about one of the bank schemes back home in Pakistan, and it was complicated for many people. So
Okay.
I just tried to simplify that in my one of the video. So that video actually went well, and it at that time, by definition of viral, for my definition of viral, it went viral.
Okay.
It gained, I think, around 10,000 views.
Wow.
Normally my videos had around, let's say, 1,000 or less views at that time. That was when I uploaded that was maybe, I think, sixth or seventh month into my YouTube
Wow.
journey, that some kind of traction was there.
Yeah.
So at that time I told my son as well, but then it was too late for him, and he started his O levels and he was busy, so he didn't. But for
But that
myself,
kept you going.
yeah,
Yeah.
that kept me going. And then also at the same time, I can see some of the monetization coming up as well, because YouTube itself, I got monetized on YouTube after, I think, 7 or 8 months. I got monetized after starting this YouTube journey,
Okay.
and I started being consistent at that time as well,
Yes.
because I was uploading 3 videos a week, which was very difficult for me at that time because I had no prior experience. I had no, let's say, actually, there was no motivation at that time as well.
Yes.
But I was just kept on going because I can see that some of the people, maybe if my videos were, let's say, gaining 100 views, 200 views, 300 views, I was of an opinion that even one of the comment that I can get a positive comment,
Yes.
it was,
If it benefited anyone,
yes,
yes.
exactly. That was
Exactly.
that became the motive for me. I thought that if one person is getting benefit from
Yes.
me, then it's somehow it will kick off.
Yes.
So I kept on going, and then as I said before, that I had some numbers as well, that I used to tell people. I was just going through this calculation, that if, let's say, you have 10,000 dirhams now,
Hmm.
I'll tell you just for now, and then I'll extrapolate back on the back date as well. So let's say if you have 10,000 dirhams right now,
Hmm.
and if you keep on investing 1,000 dirhams per month
Hmm.
from now on,
Hmm.
with 8% returns on that investment, like we are just assuming that it's 8%. 8% is very easy. It's
Yeah.
not difficult, because S&P 500 of US stocks, it it even can go up to 10% on average.
Okay.
For some people it can be 8%, some people it can be 10%. It depends on person to person. So currently many banks can offer you up to 6% as well, but let's talk about 8%. So if 8%, if you can grow by 8%,
Yeah.
and if you start with 10,000 dirhams, and if you keep on investing 1,000
1,000.
dirhams per month for a 20 years period.
Hmm.
So 20 years period, to start with, people will say it's a long time, but you see, first of all, the investment is not that much.
Yeah.
The total investment will be 250,000.
Hmm.
So over the period of 20 years, if you invest 1,000 dirhams per
Per
month,
month.
not the down payment. So initial investment 10,000 dirhams.
Yeah.
Total investment would be 250,000 dirhams.
Okay.
So this will compound to 595,000 dirhams.
Wow.
So it will almost double.
Yes.
And you started only
More than double. Yeah.
more than double, yeah.
Yes.
So you started just by investing 1,000 dirhams,
Yeah.
and keep on compounding it.
Yes.
And there is another very interesting part in this, because this compounding we are doing on annual basis.
Yes.
So every year you are you are like, let's say, we are investing, and we are assuming that we are getting 8% returns. If you convert this on a monthly basis, because we are doing monthly basis,
Yes.
we are just
You're investing
assuming
on a
that,
monthly basis.
yeah, we are
Yeah.
investing on monthly
Yeah.
basis. So I haven't assumed that we are doing it on monthly basis earlier. We thought that, okay, we are investing on annual basis. But if you invest on monthly basis, this 595 dirhams will turn out to be 638,000 dirhams. Same returns, same investment, nothing has changed.
Yeah.
It's
From
only
annual to
from
monthly.
annual to monthly. You just change the granularity, and
Okay.
it gives you this almost 40,000, 50,000 dirhams extra,
Wow.
just because you are doing it monthly now.
Yeah.
You otherwise, what you were doing, you were keeping
Collecting it for the
collecting it
year.
for a year and then investing it.
Yes.
While if you do invest every month,
Wow.
then 50,000 dirhams. So
The
these kind of
same
numbers,
amount of investment with
exactly.
change of strategy
Yes,
yields
yes,
a different result.
yes, exactly.
Wow.
So these kind of numbers comes to me every now and then, and I try to,
And you can think of it as the reverse, that if you didn't know this knowledge, you'd be losing money.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Now let's extrapolate on a back date. So
Yeah.
if you go back 20 years from now, people will say 20 years is a long time. I have been here in this country for 15 years. So
Okay.
it's only 5 years now.
Yes.
So if I would have invested on this analogy, I would have gained more, because 8% is less.
Yes.
It would have been much more than 8%.
Yeah.
The only thing is that you have to be consistent. You have to have the temperament.
Mhm.
People usually lose the temperament, because stock market can go up and down all the time. Nowadays it's all time high, But if you talk about from 2000 to 2011, US stock market was completely flat.
Yeah.
So it's up to your nerves actually. If that's why I always tell people to invest very small,
Yeah.
because if you invest small and think about longer term, you will definitely gain eventually.
Yes.
In between you will find losses, in between you will
Rough
find
patches.
rough
Yeah.
patches, but eventually it will come up. Because if you believe that US, which we all think that, at least for now, I don't think so there is any other superpower than the US, and there are so many companies coming out
Yes.
from the US which are
Yes.
likes of Apple, Microsoft.
Yes.
So if you believe in these companies, if you believe that these companies will keep on innovating, then there is no reason I would say that anything would change in next
Yeah.
5, 10, 20, 30 years.
Exactly.
So this is my motive, and this is what I wanted to teach everybody, especially because this kind of content is available on English language.
Yes.
I do this in Urdu language because I want to, especially for the GCC countries, because okay, for my country back home in Pakistan, there is no content at all. But I can see, because I'm living in the GCC, I do not connect directly from the viewers whoever is watching me from Pakistan. But somebody who is living in Dubai, or
Yeah.
let's say wider Gulf region, they understand whatever I'm saying.
Yes.
Although it's a small market, but it's a very affluent market.
Okay.
So they have a lot of money to spend, a lot of money to save, a lot of money. They can change their own lives. As I said before, that we think about in terms of our monthly income, and this is our box.
Yes.
We do not think more than that,
Beyond
because
that.
I made a video on my channel that, let's say, start small. And how do you start small? Let's say I have a diva bill, which is around, on average, let's say 600 dirhams, 500 to 600 dirhams on an average for 1 year. Just target that, okay, this bill is going to be funded through my passive income. I will not spend my
Yeah, that's a good
salary
approach.
on
Yeah.
this bill. First, target this.
Yeah.
You will achieve very soon. I mean,
Yes.
if you keep small targets, it's very easy to achieve these kind of.
Yes.
Achieve this. Next target, okay, all my utility bills should be done through my passive income, because you will not be, by the way, paying this amount through your passive income. Passive income will still be accumulating.
Yes.
I'm just hypothetically
Yes.
speaking
You're
that,
setting
okay,
targets.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So once you achieve first target, then utility bill, all the utility bills. Next, the big target is, let's say, the kids' education,
Education, rental.
then the rental.
Yes.
And once you are done, I mean, once you are okay with
Yeah.
everything, you are done.
Yes.
It's all your expenses are sorted.
Your passive is taking care of your
Exactly.
life
And then you asked me before, what is financial independence? So this is financial independence. So there is a misconception amongst many people here. They said, see, I'm financially independent because I don't have to rely on anybody to pay for my bills. I said, see, okay, you are debt free, but that being debt free doesn't mean that you're financially
Yeah.
independent. Because
It's not
being
going to
debt,
sustain you.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
being debt free is good. This is the first step towards financial independence. But financial independence itself is, let's say, if you're doing a job, if you want to leave the job, I'm not saying you just leave the job. I'm just saying, if you want to leave the job and do something of your own, you know that, okay, my kitchen is sorted, my kids' education is sorted, and I don't have to worry about my kitchen expenses through my income.
Okay.
So that is financial independence.
Okay.
This gives you wing, actually. That
Yeah.
this will give you more confidence. If you are a resident of a GCC country and you want to invest in the US stock, I have got one platform for you, which I invest through as well. This is called as Sarva. Sarva has 3 modules which you can invest through. One is Sarva Invest, the other one is Sarva Trade, and then Sarva Save. All 3 modules provide you the investment opportunities that you want, and you can invest in the US stocks. It can be Microsoft, it can be Amazon, it can be Google, any individual companies you want to invest in, or you want to invest in the ETFs, or you want to invest through Sarva Invest, which is a platform that basically does not require you to have any kind of financial knowledge. If you want to open the account with this platform, the link is in the description. You can use that link and you will get $50 of referral bonus once you open the account and transfer the funds. Terms and condition apply. Now let's get back to the video.
Okay. So does this mean, when you talk about financial independence and passive income, does it have to be income that's coming on a regular basis, or is it you have enough savings for, let's say you have a runway for 2 years,
So
and you say I'm financially independent now?
So there are two things now. If you are thinking about, because what you are coming from is, I believe, let's say, if you're going for a business and you think that, okay, I'm doing my own thing and I
Exactly.
have a 2 years runway for me,
Yes.
and I'm okay for 2 years, and I hope my business does well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll fall back to my job.
Yes.
So basically, this is not for me. It's not financial independence.
Okay.
Because for me, financial independence is that, okay, now even if I don't work, I should be able to cover my expenses. Even let's say if I want to have a hobby of traveling, let's say, if I want to, although it's very difficult, it's not easy at all. Because once you crunch the numbers, you will find that it's not easy at all.
Yeah.
There is a moment called as FIRE. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's financially independent, retire early.
Retire early.
So basically,
I
this
was
is
going to come to that.
yeah.
When we used to think financial independence, you were like, we're going to retire early.
Yeah.
You have so much, savings and stuff like that.
Yeah, but retirement early is something which is very difficult. Really, it's a buzzword, but it's difficult because you can imagine this FIRE number gives you a percentage value. So if you have a portfolio of whatever amount, let's say $1 million, so $1 million will fetch you inflation adjusted 4% returns. So what they're assuming is that your investments will give you a return of 8%.
Yeah.
But as it's having inflation adjustment every year, so
Yeah.
maybe 2%, 3%, whatever the US numbers
Yeah.
are, they are adjusting the inflation. So you will get, let's say, something of
5%.
4% to 5%. So because 5%, they're saying because maybe you will need more money sometimes. So they keep it at 4% to be on the safe side. So imagine $1 million will give you almost $40,000.
$40,000.
So $40,000, if you can survive with your family in 1 year for
Yeah.
$40,000, then it's fine. But many people, it's for
Yeah,
many
it's
people
not,
it's
yeah.
not possible. So then you have to increase the pot, which normally people say is almost $2.5 million for a normal person. It's very difficult to
Yeah.
achieve that.
Yeah.
But as I said, you can stay. Let's say you can be frugal. You can, if you are doing any side hustle, or let's say if you want to start anything else, but you want some runway for that, then of course your money that you've got in your pot, that can help you out.
Yeah.
But in strictly in speaking FIRE terms, then you have to have a 4% return from your portfolio, which will give you a survival. Because this is coming from West, and from the West you don't have to worry about your kids' education sometimes.
Yeah.
Most of the time, actually, you don't have to worry about healthcare as well, although things are changing now.
Yeah.
But still, you don't have to worry about those things. So that is one thing you mentioned before as well. There are many content creators, there are many books,
Yeah.
there are many things which are implemented on, let's say, a country like US, Canada, or UK,
Yes.
but they are not let's say directly implementing here in the UAE, Gulf, or let's say South Asian countries.
Okay.
This is the main reason, because there are many factors which
Which are different from
yes.
the West.
One thing is that there is inflation. Let's say back home in Pakistan, we have inflation skyrocketing right now. So we cannot have this 4% rule implemented directly there,
Yeah.
because your 4% is nothing in front of the inflation of
Inflation.
20%. Yes.
Yes.
But again, that is a rupee-based environment, and then you're talking about dollar-based environment here. So this is one thing, and then there are many things. While you were talking about, let's say, in the US, especially US, because US is again different than Canada. Even,
Yes.
because there are so many things that are different there. So there are many things, like let's say 401k. There is no even if you talk about UAE now, they are trying to implement something of a pension-based thing, but it's not here. So whatever books you read, just make sure that you understand
Yes.
that
Is it even relevant? Yeah.
exactly.
Exactly.
You have to understand. You must read, and you must understand what is the difference.
Yes.
You have to read. I mean, I'm not saying that you don't.
Exactly.
You should read.
Yeah.
You should understand what they're saying, but you should understand that it's not going to be directly implemented here.
Yeah.
So similarly,
You need to tailor the
yes,
advice. Yeah.
yes, exactly. Exactly. I mean, US is specifically different because you have different kind of taxes there. Let's say state tax, or even let's say a country like UK or even Canada. While it's different here, if you pass away, then your children will get the inheritance based on Sharia law.
Yes.
So there are so many other
Yeah.
things.
Over there is estate and
Yes,
citizen. Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, I mean, and it's a huge cut
Yes.
once it comes to estate tax.
Exactly.
So, and then again, there is another thing that you must understand, that let's say if you are investing in the US stocks while you are living in the UAE, you should understand that some of the laws, although you are living in the UAE, but they will apply to you directly, because estate tax will apply to you
Yes.
if you haven't planned it properly. and there is a workaround for that, and there is a people don't
Because the
know.
income you're making is like as if you're in US. Is that the reason?
So I'll tell you something. Once you invest in, let's say, if you talk about Apple stock, so if you're investing in Apple stock directly,
Mm.
you are there are two kind of people. So one is based in the US, and the second person is out of US.
Out of US.
But out of US, if you're a US citizen, you are still considered as US citizen. So
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
the same thing.
taxes apply to
Yes,
you.
it's the
Yeah.
same thing. So if you are investing in the US stocks,
As a non-US citizen.
as a non-US citizen, you will be having 30% of dividend tax. While if you are investing as a US citizen, being in the US, you will be implemented. I mean, you will be slapped with the 15% capital gains. Oh, sorry, this
Tax.
withholding tax. So there is a difference.
Okay.
But at the same time, while you are in the UAE, I'm talking about UAE only. If you are, let's say, in South Asian countries, India, Pakistan, they have different tax structure.
Mm.
Although there is difficulty in investing in the US stock, but let's talk about someone who is in the UAE and they want to invest in the US stocks. Then they will be let's say they will be charged with the 30% of dividend tax. I'm talking about dividend, by the way, only,
Okay.
not the capital gains
Not
tax.
the capital gains.
But if you're in the US, you will get that capital gains tax implemented as well. So let's say if a stock value goes from $100 to $200, so there is a capital appreciation of $100.
Yes.
So your capital appreciation will be taxed at whatever the rate is there, and you will be taxed for those $100. But if you are in the UAE and
And they give a dividend.
if it's a dividend, then there would be, instead of 15%, you will get 30%.
Okay.
But if it's a capital gains, let's say if Apple stock goes from $100 to $200, then you won't pay any tax.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So, but you have to understand what is the difference, what is not. Then there is another point people misunderstand. You still can avoid this dividend tax of 30%.
30%.
So how do you do that? Basically, there are ETFs. ETFs are exchange traded funds.
Mm.
So once you let's say invest in stock market, you can invest through ETFs as well.
Mm.
So if you want to invest in Apple stock, you can do directly, or you want to invest in the ETF, which is combining Apple's stock and other stocks as well, then you can do that as well. So there are ETFs in the US market, but there are ETFs which are based in Ireland. They are called as Irish domiciled ETF.
Okay.
So those ETFs are amazing because those ETF, those are replicating exactly the same as the US stocks or US ETFs, but they are domiciled same group of stocks.
Okay.
But they are domiciled in Ireland. So they are called as Irish domiciled ETF. So for that, those are especially made for people who are not investing from the US.
Okay.
If you're investing in those ETF, you will still be taxed at 15%, not 30%. And then state taxes are still not applied directly.
Wow.
So that is something which many people don't know. They have a multi $1,000 portfolio, and they don't know that this 15% can be saved. But again, that cannot be applied if you want to invest in individual company. So if you want to
ETFs.
You have to invest in ETF, and then only
Got it.
Yeah.
This is some excellent information. So let's go back to that financial independence topic. And you spoke about that if you want to go on a vacation and you have enough passive income coming in. I want to ask you, is there really something called passive income? Because all the passive incomes that I've seen, it still requires a lot of effort. Podcasts, YouTube, even if you have a book and it's published and it's selling millions, you still have to go on tours, sign stuff and, come up on interviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Is there really something called passive income?
So I give an example for explaining this passive income. Like, let's say if you have a rental property, you own a rental property, and you want to give this, if specifically talking in terms of Dubai, so you can give this rental property in multiple ways. So one way is to give this rental property, let's say, simply by renting it out for an annual basis. So annual basis, you will get, let's say, 6-7% returns, averaging it out. Then there is an option that you can give this rental property for let's
property
say
management.
Or not property management. Let's say you do Airbnb. Okay. So if you do Airbnb,
but you still need to go through some of these.
This is what
companies.
I'm giving you the ladders of passive income.
Okay.
So once you give this to Airbnb, and you can
list it directly.
Yes.
Okay.
You're doing it directly.
Okay.
So you will get the returns, let's say, of 11%, 12%. Then there is an option to buy a property. I talk about these platforms which are giving you fractional ownership of the property. So You buy those shares of the let's say Smart Crowd is one of the platforms that I work with as well. You buy the platform, you buy the properties share through that platform.
Okay.
So that they give you that share. Let's say if you want to buy for 10,000 dirhams, 11,000 dirhams, or even 500 dirhams, 1,000 dirhams, whatever. So you can buy a very small quantity and then let them do the magic, and you will get rental returns every month.
Okay.
Okay. But those rental returns would be much lesser than not much lesser,
Airbnb.
but Airbnb or even your own property.
Okay.
So that is completely passive because you are investing and you
Yes.
just are sleeping after that. But for your own property, you still might have to work. Let's say even if it's giving for an annual rental contract, maybe the
maintenance
maintenance or
and
something
yes,
comes up, you might have to
or the
still
tenant,
yeah,
yeah,
they do some bad things.
yeah,
So you still have to be involved there.
yes,
But for Airbnb, it's much more involved, much
yes,
more involvement than compared to
yes,
something which is, let's say, annual rental.
responding to the customers
So
and
all of
cleaning
them,
and everything. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So all of them are considered passive,
but at
although
different
but
levels,
different levels. So
and then the returns
of course,
change
exactly.
accordingly.
So if you talk about government returns or T-bills returns, so you will get 5% return, but you have to work on those are proper passive returns. But those are small returns, and they might not be even beating the inflation. So then you have to see that. Then you invest in S&P 500. If you invest in ETFs or, let's say, index fund, it is passive because you just find out one ETF and keep on investing,
Keep it
but
long.
the returns are, let's say, 8%. But if you invest in a good company like which is growing, let's say talk about Nvidia, it has shown phenomenal
Massive,
returns
yeah.
recently. So if that is the that is the condition, but you have to find that kind of company that requires a lot of work.
Research, yeah.
So true passive income is very difficult. It either requires a lot of upfront money, or either requires a lot of work.
Yeah.
Because let's say if you're publishing a book, you have to let's say spend a lot of time, maybe 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, just writing that book, and then you go for publishing, and then it start
Exactly.
to give you money. Similarly, I give an example of YouTube or content creation. All the other platforms apart from YouTube, they are completely active because uh, even though YouTube is also active, but YouTube is still, I have seen
Historical videos will
yes,
still be
they
getting,
will still coming, like
yes,
3 years old video, it will
yes,
still coming. But although I would still need to push new content, then only those old videos will keep
yes,
on getting views. But for Instagram, let's say, old videos will never
yes.
pop up, even whatever type of
TikTok
content
and
you're,
whatever,
yeah,
yeah.
old videos will not
Only
come
the
up.
new and relevant ones will come
Exactly.
up.
So passive income is a very sexy
Loose
word.
term.
Yeah, a very sexy word. People use it often,
Yeah.
but it's not that passive. It's very tiring. It's very
Yes.
difficult to start with. But the compounding is something
Yes.
which I just mentioned,
Yeah.
that how compounding works. Because that calculation, once you will say, okay, passive income is very difficult, but down the line 10 years, you will find that, okay, if you're doing passive income through compounding, that is a magic. That's why Einstein has said that this compound interest is eighth
Eighth
wonder of the world.
wonder.
So it is true, really true, because I have seen compounding works very well.
And what I understand is the key is to start early.
Start early is
Yes.
very important. But then again, I mention to people that I always tell this example of this colonel sub of KFC.
Yeah.
He started
Colonel
at the age of
Sanders. Yeah.
of 60 years, 62 years of age, and then he did this something. So if you are the best time to start investing was 20 years back,
Yeah.
but the second best time is now.
Is now.
So that is very important to understand. And then I always tell people to invest very small amount to start with.
Yeah.
Because if you invest more and then you get because this happened to me as well, that when I started investing, actually I tried investing 3 or 4 times in my whole life, until I I understood this properly 5-6 years back. But before that, maybe 10 years back or 15 years back, I started investing. I got some losses, and I just stopped it.
Gave up.
Yeah, because nobody was there to tell me as a mentor that you have to keep on going.
Yes.
Even right now, take any of the investment class. Any of the investment class. I'm from Pakistan. Take Pakistan stock market. Take, let's say, Pakistan real estate market. Take US stock market. Take Dubai real estate market. Take Dubai stock market. Take gold, for example. All these asset classes would be beating inflation in longer term.
Yes.
In all cases,
Okay.
dollar terms and longer term. But if you have to, but you only have to keep on investing, keep on going, do not worry about the noise, whatever is around you.
There might be times when it goes below inflation.
For sure it will happen.
Okay.
But if you just have to realize that whatever you're investing is right for you, it's aligning with your vision, then only keep on investing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you think that, okay, I'm in Pakistan, I don't think so this country is going to do well in future, don't invest then. But if you think for a slight reason that you think that this country will do, and this country will do because of the population,
Yes.
population is huge,
Yeah.
so it will do eventually. My point is that you have to diversify, invest wherever you think it can give you returns, and keep on doing that. And
Okay.
if you are diversified, then of course one instrument will not give you return, the second
Yes.
instrument will give you. Over the period of time, all instruments will give you the returns.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the point.
I want to talk about a small story. I saw an ad once that a kid comes and he looks at a cricket bat and he wants to buy it, and the price of the cricket bat was, let's say, $1,000. So he goes back and he starts saving, and after a year he comes back with $1,000, and the price is now $2,000. And of course the look on the kid's face was very disappointing, and this ad got a lot of slack from people, a lot of backlash. But it just made me think that, is saving something which is wrong? And we were taught. I used to have huge jars of coins every day. I would not eat anything and start saving. So is saving the wrong approach, and we should always be investing, or should we have a balance of the two?
Yeah. So now I would quote here again. We always say that don't. There is a very good term called as borrowed intelligence. This is what we don't want to have. Let's say if Dave Ramsey is saying something, or let's say Warren Buffett is saying something, we should not be directly implementing that here. But there are certain things that are very obvious, and you should be copying it directly. So Dave Ramsey says that you should have emergency fund set up first. So that can only happen through savings. But, so what he's saying, that whatever your emergency fund is, just save that, and after that, whatever you have extra, you should invest, unless and until you have something in the near future. You have a plan to buy a house, let's say, or you have a kids education coming up, or let's say you have some, that there is some medical expense coming up. So for that, you need to have a certain amount of money separately. Otherwise, save whatever you have in emergency fund and then invest the rest of it. And
so two follow-up questions. What is emergency fund?
Okay.
Like how much? What would you say? How many months? And then what is near future? You said something coming up in the near future.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm buying a house, but maybe it's after 10 years. Should
Yeah.
I start saving up for that?
For 10 years, it's a long time. So
Yeah.
10 years, I would still say it's not something short term. For me, short term is up till 5 years.
Okay.
For me, short term is like that, because I won't be investing my money for 5 years in stock market. So whatever money I'm investing in stock market is beyond 5
Beyond
years,
5
or
years.
at least 10 years, something
Okay.
like that. So that
When
is
you put it in there, you're not going to touch it for another 5 years.
exactly
Yeah, at
whatever
least.
I'm investing, I know that I won't need this money. So otherwise, I would be in a stressful situation.
So what would you do if it's within 5 years? Something
now
is coming up.
So for emergency fund, as you asked, what
Yeah.
is emergency fund? So basically, emergency fund for different people is different. People in the West, they say 3 months to 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Okay, but people, whoever ask me here, I would say 1 year at least. Because we are expat in this country. You don't know what happens next. God forbid your job is gone, or whatever bad situation happens. It's not, there is no social benefits that are associated with this country. So you have to understand
So
that.
take your monthly expense multiplied by 12.
12.
This
yes.
is your emergency fund.
Yes. In fact, I have one
So
of.
keep it in the bank.
I'll tell you where to put that, but there was another podcast that I've done with a real estate agent, and real estate agents, they are not good with their money.
Yeah.
But there are few people I met which who were extremely they were frugal.
Okay.
And I didn't meet such kind of real estate people
Yeah.
earlier. So he was telling me that because of this real estate situation, and because of being in real estate domain, they don't get financial let's say instrument easily. So it's very difficult for them to get loans.
Oh.
It's very difficult for them to get the credit card. So for that reason, he said that I keep 3 years worth of emergency fund.
Wow.
So many people do like that. Now, of course, 3 years worth of an emergency fund, you don't want to keep it in a bank,
Yeah.
in a normal bank
Yeah.
account. So there are instruments that you can invest. First of all, from my side, 1 year is, I think, enough.
Okay.
So 1 year should be enough, unless and until you have a different kind of scenario. because real estate agents, they have a situation where sometimes they have 100,000 dirhams in a
Yes.
month, and then 2 months nothing.
Nothing. Yes.
So it's understandable from their side. So where should you invest your emergency fund? What I think is, first of all,
You want to keep it as liquid as
some
possible, right?
portion, yes, some
Yeah.
portion should be liquid, 100%. Some portion should be, let's say, 1 month at least in worth of investment should be in a bank account,
Okay.
which is accessible through your ATM card.
Exactly.
This is one thing. And then because you are in the UAE, you have certain options, Sharia compliant, conventional, every kind of options you have. Let's say there are options like national bonds.
Hmm.
Those are government backed bonds. There you can invest and you can get a certain amount of return depending on the timing. So currently they are offering almost 5.8%.
Okay.
So which is very good.
But then there must be a limit, right? Like you have to lock the money for
You
some
have to lock the money, but the good thing is that if you want to withdraw, the penalty would be not that much.
Okay.
So I'll just give you an example. So they have a lock-in period of 90 days only. So it's not that much
Oh,
anyways.
that's good.
Yes.
So
So
if you give a notice period of 90 days.
no. If you pass 90 days, then it's fine. You can withdraw after that.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So before 90 days, I think it's a 0.25% or something like that,
Okay.
which is not very much. So
Okay.
so if you pass 3 months, you will get the returns as well, because they will give you annualized basis 5.8%. So you will get some kind of return.
Hmm.
Then it will keep on accumulating there. So you can compound there as well. And then there are other banks as well which can give you some kind of return. So returns are there. Of
So
course,
keep 1 month in your bank.
in cash.
Yeah,
as a
as
cash.
cash.
Yes.
And then other than that, you can just invest it in these
Yes.
guys where you can easily go and convert it to
Yeah, a
liquid.
good thing about national bonds or such kind of instrument is that it helps you to save as well, because national bonds or these kind of instruments, they make it difficult to withdraw as well. Because if I invest in national bonds and I want to get it redeemed, there are two options. Let's say I go to an exchange house, I pay I think 25 dirhams of fees, and I can redeem 10,000 dirhams of my investment. Or you can request them and they will give you a check. This check will take 2-3 days, and
Oh,
then you have to either pick it up, or if you want to get it delivered to you, it can happen. You will get the check, you will get it a deposit cashed as
yeah.
well. It is a week's process.
Okay.
So it brings some kind of resistance. So that is why I tell everybody, if you are not let's say composed, if you are irresponsible with your money, invest in national bonds.
Okay.
It will be easier for you not
It's gonna
to
harder. Yeah, it's
yeah.
gonna be harder for you to just withdraw it and spend it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are many ways that you can invest your emergency fund like that.
So we agree that there should be some saving,
Hmm.
but other than that, we should always be focusing on investing rather than just hoarding on wealth, right?
Yes.
And you touched on a very good point about a person being frugal. How much do you think lifestyle contributes towards investing?
So basically, I always give this example. Back home in Pakistan, there are people who because it's not as luxurious as here in
Yes.
Dubai. So there are people who have enough money, but they cut expenses on electricity bill and then don't use air conditioners.
Oh
But at
my
the same
God.
time, have very expensive cars in their car garages.
Yeah.
So I tell them that, why do you guys have to spend so much money on your car while your family is not sleeping well? Because that is sleeping well is very important. So you should not compromise on a few things.
Exactly.
So that is, for me, it's very important to have good night's sleep, and then I should not inflate my lifestyle. So I've been living in this flat for last 9 years. If
Okay.
I want now, easily I can upgrade and have, let's say, even whatever the rent is here, I can double that. But I won't go for the lifestyle inflation. I've got a car which is also 9 years old. I tell this to many people. So even if you change the car, unless you are not driving too much and you want an electric vehicle because the fuel will be
Yeah.
cheaper, otherwise there is no reason to change the car. The roads are excellent here. You don't have to worry about your car's maintenance too much. I mean, regular maintenance will work if it's so. Lifestyle contributes a lot towards people who are irresponsible again. So if you are not irresponsible, then it's very easy for you to save and keep on whatever lifestyle you have. And by the way, I tell people there is another hack. If you start the side hustle, any side hustle. So let's say if you are having 20 dirhams per month salary in UAE, and you start a side hustle, and by time it grows to, let's say, it is giving you, let's say, 10,000, 15,000 dirhams extra. Now in the office, you don't have to upgrade yourself because you're still on 20,000 dirhams, and
Yeah.
your colleagues are the same.
Yeah.
You're getting 15,000 dirhams extra, and you can do investment or whatever you want. So if you start side hustle, you also, if you're responsible, not irresponsible, if you're
Yeah.
responsible, you can make a lot of money. You can invest a lot of money just through side hustle, not having lifestyle inflation. Because once you get promoted, maybe the society pressure comes, and then you may be upgrading your car and these things.
Yes. Yes.
So doing a side hustle also have this kind of impact as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because I see a lot of people, they are spending more than they're earning, and that's because of credit cards and
Yeah.
and like you said, peer pressure and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I think if your goal is to invest and your goal is to save money, then you should not be, upgrading your lifestyle more than you can.
Hmm.
So that's really interesting. And now I have another question about you. Let's say, somebody, and you spoke a lot about Dubai, so I'm going to ask you about a Dubai question. Somebody just moved into Dubai, they have a good job, but at the end of the month, they have saved 1,000 dirhams.
Hmm.
What would you recommend to them? And let's say they have this emergency fund and stuff like that. They need to invest this 1,000 dirhams.
Hmm.
Where would you suggest them to invest this 1,000 dirhams?
So first of all, if they have got emergency fund sorted, I'll answer this 1,000 dirham where to invest. But first of all, I tell everybody that, let's say if everything is sorted and you're getting good salary, you should be saving at least the same tax. Let's say if somebody is in Canada.
Hmm.
So if, let's say, a person is in Canada having $100,000
That's a
of
good one,
salary,
yeah.
and if he's getting 40% of let's say tax, I know people will say, okay, here expenses are more.
Yes.
You will have children's education and these things, but still, you have a framework. You can work on that. There is no excuse for that.
Hmm.
Because if you can, because in Canada somebody is getting slapped with 40% tax,
Yes.
and on top of that they're still saving.
Yes.
So there is no reason for somebody who's in the UAE, because I tell everybody, just this calculation, if you do your working properly, people stay in this country for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years even. If you do your investments properly, you can retire in this country.
Yes.
Because if you are paying yourself taxes,
Yes.
like to yourself,
Yes.
then there is no reason that you will not be able to survive the retirement in this country.
Exactly.
There is no reason at all. I mean, in Canada, automatically people have to pay that
Yes.
tax, and
See,
those,
when that money is already cut from the government, you
Yeah.
have no options, right?
Yeah.
You don't think about like, okay, I've spent everything, how much is saved? It's the opposite.
yes,
This
yes.
is already cut. Now what do I do with this remaining?
Yes, and here people, because they get lump sum money immediately in the and the salaries are good as well.
Yes.
So people get carried away.
Yes.
So that should not be the case. So anyways, now coming back to the question of 1,000 dirhams, where to
Yeah.
invest. So if you're consistently investing, let's say making 1,000 dirhams, you're sorted with emergency fund.
Yes.
You're sorted with every other investment. Let's say every other expense like kids' education, everything.
Yeah.
Then I would definitely recommend you to invest. I don't recommend investing in properties,
Hmm.
as like if you're only having 1,000 dirham per month, you will not be able to
Yes.
buy the property. So if you're having this 1,000 dirhams, invest in let's say US stocks, or let's say UAE stocks, or even back home wherever you're coming from, let's say India, Pakistan, you can invest in that.
Okay.
And the good thing about stock market is that you can invest through, let's say, 100 dirhams, 200 dirhams,
Yes.
whatever the amount you want.
Yes.
It's not like you have to have too much of a bigger amount. So you can split between UAE stocks, US stocks. US stocks should be predominantly more amount, and there are robo investor platforms as
Hmm.
well, where you don't have to study which stock to buy. You can just give them the money and they will invest for you.
Yeah.
So that is the easiest way.
And this investment, like we said before, with a 5-year plan at least. Right?
Yes, at least 5 years
Yeah.
plan. Yes, because even 5 years is less for me,
Yeah.
because that can anything can happen in 5 years, and we've seen COVID.
Yes.
We've seen the housing crisis of 2008. We've seen so many things. So anything can happen, and then that amount will be probably negative at that time, and you don't want to pull it
Yeah.
off. One of
Yeah.
the friend today, just in the office, they were saying that Pakistani stock market was doing very bad since 2017 until now, but just last 6 months it has gone. I think at least I would say double the amount, and some stocks made it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times even. And this guy was impatient, and he waited for 5 years,
Hmm.
and then he took pull off all the money maybe 2 years back,
Oh my God.
and now he's just regretting. So I told him it's cyclical.
Yeah.
Anything can happen anytime. So good thing can happen, bad thing can happen.
Yes.
You have to keep whatever amount you have invested, just keep it there.
Yeah.
Good thing about stock market is that even US stock market, that you will get dividends as well.
Yes.
So even if let's say your portfolio is down, if you invest more, the dividends percentage would be higher.
Yeah.
So if you got a stock for, let's say, $100 and it was giving you $2 of dividend, now it's $80 and it's giving you, let's say, $2 still. Then your percentage is higher now.
Yes.
Of course, there are reasons that you don't want to invest in a company which is going down for the stock
Still paying
price,
dividends,
but
yeah.
still giving dividends.
Yeah.
But I mean, just I'm giving you an example that this is important to. So 1,000 dirhams easily you can
In
invest in the
stocks.
stocks. Yes.
So, and when we say stocks, we're not talking about day trading, right? We're
Not
talking
at
about
all. Not at all.
10 years and long term.
Yes. Yes.
So, and you spoke about Nvidia. Now, Nvidia stock is already at a very high.
Yeah.
Should we go and, if I believe in Nvidia, I feel that it's going to go higher.
Yeah.
Should I go and invest in it, or should I wait for it to come down?
So there is no investing advice in this video at all, whatever we've said so far. And Nvidia, I haven't invested in Nvidia at all. And the reason is that I am, if I don't understand a company
Yes.
or anything, I won't invest. For Apple, I always, by the way, for Apple stocks, whenever I buy an Apple product, because I'm all in with Apple, I have all my content creation set up based on Apple. So
Based
I
on
know that
Apple.
this will work. This is working for me, and I want to invest in. And I was just calculating something that whatever investment I have done or whatever spend that I have done so far over the period of, let's say, last 15 years on the Apple devices, if I've invested the same amount also on the Apple stocks, all the devices would be free. Not free,
Wow.
actually, more than I would have got
Yes.
more devices.
Yes.
So this is just mind blowing for me when I
Yes.
thought about like this.
And it also makes sense when you're buying these products, you're actually investing in it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
So
yes.
might as well invest in their actual stock.
Yes.
Yeah.
And most of the Apple products, for me, it's okay for the work. But most of the people who are buying Apple products, they are doing it for either social pressure or just to show off their
Yeah.
things. So if you're doing if you're investing or let's say if you're spending for your wants, then better off invest at the same time.
Yes.
Then it will resist you as, I mean, you will be resisted not to spend. If let's say if it's a 5,000 dirham phone,
Yeah.
and I have to buy 5,000 dirhams worth of stocks as
Stock.
well, I will definitely resist
Yes.
going towards buying the phone unless I have got this extra 5,000 dirhams. So this is my own like working that I've done,
Yeah, it's
which is
very
helping
nice.
me a lot. So I mean, it's very easy.
So let's say Apple. Apple stock is right now quite high. If
Yeah.
somebody has that 1,000 dirhams, would they wait for it to come down, or should they?
So there was a colleague in my office as well. They asked me the same question. I said, see, it's up to you. I don't stop investing at all. If it's high, if it's
I think
low,
the law of averages will always.
yeah. It for me it works every time. So, but for I cannot say this will work for you, but it is working for me. Even if the stock market goes, let's say, 20% down, am I going to be holding the stocks? I will do it until, let's say, 30%, 40% even. I don't have to worry because this is very small portion of whatever I have
Yes.
as my net worth.
Yes.
And I have got a 10 years horizon as well.
Yeah.
And also I've got, my age is let's say 45 right now. I've got 15 years until 60, until I turn 60. So I've got some runway still. So
Yeah.
so I don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
And I tell the same to everybody, but situation is different for everyone.
Absolutely.
So it's
No, I'm sure this is not professional advice. It's just what do you think?
what I think. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of what you think, there is another hypothetical situation. Just imagine there is a country and you're in charge of the financial situation. What investment vehicle would you ban from the country? You will not allow anyone to invest in that vehicle. What
Oh.
would that be?
Okay, so that would be quite draconian. But let's say, see, governments cannot do a lot. See, within UAE, it's a very small country, a very regulated country. But even we were just talking about such kind of scams that happened with the investments of forex and these things,
Yes.
and those guys pulled, I think, millions of dirhams from people, and they were working within Dubai. So it's not easy for the governments to track such kind of scams. But if you talk about,
I mean, a vehicle which is,
yeah,
which you feel is like, no way.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll tell you something, because so we have to go back to the US, because US is something we should see how they are working. So they have created a system where their pension funds are also invested in the stock market, which is not happening in, let's say, back home in Pakistan, or if let's say, if I'm given a chance, maybe that country is also not doing. So I will try to do some kind of incentive for people to invest in the stock market. This is one thing for sure I want to do, because stock market is, people say that it's manipulated and these things, but At the same time, it's giving capital to companies which can innovate.
Yes.
So I think that is very important to invest in the stock market, and in the longer run, let's say if you've got a 20 years, 30 years horizon, it will give you benefit. So this is one thing that I want to implement
You
somehow.
would recommend it. Okay.
Yes. There is another thing, that all unregulated transactions should be banned somehow, which is very difficult again. There is one specific, let's say, practice that I want to ban. I don't know if the governments are able to ban that, but still, there is a phenomena which back home in Pakistan, India, South Asian countries, even here in the UAE, I can see people doing this committee thing.
Committee thing, yeah.
So
You
committee,
pool in money,
yes,
and then
yes.
everybody gets a turn.
And it's a crazy, stupid idea. Like, people still say that, why are you saying like that? It's a vehicle to make money,
Yeah.
and people do save through that. And
Yeah.
I know very educated people are doing this.
Yes.
And
yes. I think my wife still does it.
it baffles me. How
Yes.
can you think about that? Because, see, first of all, there are few intelligent people who are doing committees.
Yeah.
They are fine. Because let's say if I'm doing
The first one to get it.
yes, exactly. Those are intelligent people.
Yes.
If you're doing that, then keep on doing that.
Yes.
Then you're better off. But if you are someone who is getting towards the end,
Yes.
then you are completely in loss.
Yes.
Because you're, let's say, let's talk a hypothetical example. Let's say if you're doing for 10,000 dirhams, or let's say 12,000 dirhams, and there are 12 people
Yes.
for 12 months. So every month one person has to give 1,000 dirhams.
Yes.
And the last person to get 12,000 dirhams will not have anything
Yes.
in terms of, let's say, profit, whatever he could have got
Yes.
if he has invested. So if you talk about 6% of returns,
Yeah.
the first person who got the payment,
Yes.
they would invest this 12,000 dirhams, invest in let's say stock market, not only stock market, safe investments, and they will get 5% of return.
Yes.
So they will get 600 dirhams of money upfront,
Upfront.
and then they will be paying, of course,
Yes.
that money over the period of time.
Yes.
It is good for some people who are very irresponsible with their money. But then, as I said, national bond is something which they, if they're in the UAE, they should think about it. You can just go over the counter and you can buy national bonds through this Al Ansari exchange or these kind of companies or exchange houses.
Yeah.
So it's very easy for anybody, if they want to have some resistance going forward, they should, or because I've seen people using this vehicle to save for their weddings, save for the upcoming schools and these things. But these are crazy loss-making like practices that I can think of. So I should not. So basically, any unregulated activity of it should not be
Makes sense.
going on. Yes.
I saw one of your LinkedIn posts where you said that I'm paraphrasing that if somebody is guaranteeing you a fixed return higher than the banks, then be careful.
Yeah.
I want you to explain that, because I feel that there's a lot of scammers around who are guaranteeing you fixed incomes and fixed returns, and their rates are higher than the banks.
So you're right. There are so many scams in the name of guaranteed returns. So that has to be checked why they are giving you guaranteed returns. So I'll give you an example of this company which is promising 3% monthly returns. So if you talk about 3% monthly returns, it turns to be almost 36% annual. And if you compound over time for 1 year, it is almost 48%.
Wow.
So if somebody is giving you 48% returns, how are they managing it? Because if they are giving you guaranteed returns, what kind of business they're doing? Because if you go to a bank and ask for a loan, I was offered a loan of 5.5% or 6%, something like that.
Okay.
Just now. So if you're doing a good business, just go to the bank and get that money. Like get for 6% let's say interest rate.
Yeah.
Why do you have to go to public and get a 50% or 48% rate of interest and pay them back every month?
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, even if, let's say, if the rate of return or the profit or the interest rate banks are charging right now at 6%, and somebody is telling you, okay, I'm giving you 7%, it makes sense sometimes, because there are some banks which want to get more customers, and this extra 1% is their marketing cost, let's say. So 1%, 2% is sometimes understandable.
Okay.
But if it's going beyond 4%, 5%, it doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
So anything which is, let's say, if its prevailing rates are 6% and you're getting 10%, it's a red flag. Unless they tell you that, okay, this is a risky investment, and you understand that it's a risk and it can go anywhere.
Okay.
So then it's fine.
Not a fixed one.
Yes. And then it's fine. I mean, you understand the risk, you know that, okay, this can be a risky thing and my money can erode.
Yeah.
You understand the risk, then it's fine. But if you're thinking that, okay, I'm gonna get guaranteed returns, and this company that we're talking about, they have hundred of people who have invested millions of
Yes,
dirhams.
millions of dirhams.
So I don't know how. And this is another point, that having more money doesn't make you intelligent
Yeah.
investor. So it is very important to have financial literacy, and financial literacy doesn't come with more money or more income. I've seen people here in Dubai who were earning in the range of 70,000 dirhams, 80,000 dirhams per month, and still are behind bars right now, just
Oh my
because
God.
of their financial mismanagement.
Oh my God.
So, and I know people who are making 10,000 dirhams here, and still somehow feeding their family. Their kids are going to school. They're making some money as well. They're saving some money, so they're doing some other things as well.
Yeah.
So there are people in both spectrum.
Yes.
So
And the difference is because of their financial literacy.
and also I think greed, because there are many people, there are many chartered accountants, MBAs. Those people know everything they know ins and out of
Oh.
the banks, but still they do mistakes. And it's not about financial
Blinded by
literacy
greed.
only.
Yeah.
It's about psychology. It's about their mind, whatever they're thinking of, greed. So there are so many things which are
Okay.
involved. Yeah. So guaranteed returns above bank rate is a red flag.
It's a red flag.
Yes.
I mean, this is absolutely important because, I know so many people, they have this hard-earned money, and then scammers call them, and then
Yeah.
they lose all their money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's really good. So I want to finish off by asking you, what are your future plans? Do you want to persist in the social media? Do you want to become a speaker somewhere? Start your own academy? What are your future plans?
It's a good question. Actually, I haven't thought about it because I don't get time to think about it. So basically, I'm doing a day job right now, and after my job, I start doing this content creation. My family is very supportive. They give me time for that, but it's very difficult. It's not easy
Yeah, I'm sure.
to do this content creation along with the day job. But I love content creation. So eventually, at one point of time, I probably would be thinking myself as a full-time content creator.
Mm.
But this content creator as a profession also is not like, it's not having such
Sustainable, yeah.
sustainability, because it's not easy. A lot of people go away from that. So for me, I think I should have enough investments to have my kitchen running,
Mm.
and then do whatever I want. So either it's my job,
For
or
the fun of it.
for the fun of it. Yes. And then I should be making money. So it's very important to, whatever you think, whatever, let's say, your passion is, think how to monetize that as well.
Yes.
It's very important. Otherwise, your passion will die out, and you will be, let's say, you will not be able to sustain that.
Mm.
And people who sustain that, they either have fundings to do that, or they become miserable after that. It's very important to have something to monetize your own passion, and it's very easy.
Yeah.
Be it your sports, because even if you like politics, I tell people I don't do politics at all. I don't watch political programs either from the West, or let's
Yeah.
say from my back home, Pakistan.
Yeah.
But I tell them, if you like politics or if you like sports, talk about that on social media.
Yeah.
Get something out there. Just doing it on WhatsApp, it won't help you out.
Yeah.
Do it on social media, make some money out of it as well, and then you will feel what potential you have. Maybe you have some potential to be a politician.
Yes.
I know a person who had this route, going towards this YouTube for his political opinions, and then he joined a political party, and now
Oh,
he's doing very
wow.
well. Yeah, so you don't know what will happen. So
Yes.
social media is something which can bring a lot outside, which you cannot imagine what you
Yes.
have inside. Because then once you start putting up, and it should be your passion as well. Once you start putting up, you will find that, okay, this thing is working, and you will eventually monetize that
Okay.
too. Not in a bad way, but of course there are ways.
Last question. I mean, that was the last one, but another last one.
Yeah.
You told me that there were some comments that encouraged you. Was there another side of that? Comments that discouraged you from doing it?
So initial days, yes, there were some comments, because I am making videos based on my knowledge.
Yes.
Whatever I had.
Yes.
And when I started YouTube channel, I was barely having any major knowledge. I was doing everything. So
Incrementally improving. Yeah.
yes. And even right now, I don't have any major financial literacy in terms of stock picking. So if I talk about stock picking, it's probably not correct. So I'm doing it on my own, whatever I know.
Okay.
So even before these mutual funds, there are mutual funds that they have their reports public always, and you can see which mutual fund is investing where. So I
Yeah.
did some videos like that. So there were people who were saying that you are not giving the correct knowledge or correct picture. Although I've always said in my videos that this is
My
on
personal
my personal
opinions.
opinion. So
Yeah.
nobody should be investing based on that.
Yes.
But those kind of negative comments were there, and even right now,
Yeah.
we had one of the podcasts. So you have to be a
Thick
bit
skin.
of thick skin. Yes,
Yes.
you have to be a bit of that, because otherwise, positive comments are always good,
Yeah.
but negative comments, I just ignore them. If you think about negative comment, I know people who, even if they get one negative comment, they will just think over it, and
Yes.
they just keep on that zone,
Yes.
which is difficult if you want to grow,
Yeah.
because there are all kind of people around on the internet. So you cannot hold.
Yeah, you can't please everyone.
Yeah, you can. Otherwise,
Exactly.
you go sell ice cream.
Even then, they'll want some flavor that you don't have.
Exactly.
So, thank you very much, Wali, for joining this podcast. Do you want to have any last comments towards our audience?
I wish you lots of luck. You've moved to Dubai, and I hope you get whatever you want.
Thank you so much.
And I wish that your content creation journey starts well as well. And then, just to everybody, keep on investing is very simple. And many people say to me under my videos that this is very old thing, and you've been telling this for the longest time. I say, first of all, there are new people who are coming up,
Yes.
so they should be knowing this. Secondly, this thing should be reiterated
Yes.
every day.
Hammer it down.
Yeah, hammer
Yeah.
it down.
Yes.
This is very simple. These are very simple things, but these have to be understood, and they should be kept on going again and again and again, because only then people will realize. And once they realize, they can stop watching my videos, because then I don't have anything extra
Yes.
to tell them.
Exactly.
Only my experiences, and the experiences every day it's changing. The other day I was telling the guy, and I made the video on that. I was doing this on the X platform on Twitter. I was having one of the conversation with one guy. He was saying that I was thinking to have this TV, 70-inch TV, or should I invest this in the stock market? So I told him, if you had side hustle, or if you had some hobbies, you will not be saying that, because then your mind will constantly be involved in that. Just to give you an example, in our balcony, there are chairs and there are furnitures which are outdoor, which has become worn off for last 4 years. They were there. So I had this Amazon. I was just going through this YouTube video and found that, okay, this polish is very good. I ordered that polish, and I used that on the table. It was very good. It was slightly. I had some struggle, but it turned out very well. And I made a video of that. See what hobbies can bring
Yes.
out to you, and then that monetized as well, because
Wow.
I showed that polish which I
And
use,
people went
and people went
used the
and buy
referral
through.
link and
Yes, exactly. So I monetized that
Yes.
eventually. So if you keep on that in that zone, you will find good things to monetize from. So it's very easy.
it's very easy.
So you have to have
And I
some
think
kind of
in
hobby.
this day and age, there's really no excuse to be jobless or to
Yeah.
be out of resources. There's so many resources out
Yes,
there.
yeah. But most important thing is that you have to find something while you are on a job. Otherwise, if you do a hard handover, it's going to be difficult.
It's going to be difficult.
Yes, yes.
All right, this is really interesting stuff that Wali spoke about. It reminds me of something that Bill Gates said. He said, "My daughter will never marry a poor man." He said, "Poor man is not someone who doesn't have money." He said, "A poor man can win a lottery, he's still a poor man with money.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
poor
yeah.
man is someone who can't make money."
Yes.
So financial literacy is something that's really important for us. I'll leave the link for Wali's channel below, and if you like this podcast, please do subscribe and like. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.